Good day, everyone. So, this video is a continuation of the discussion on our first video na nag-discuss natin ang the law of demand. So, now, we are to discuss the law of supply. So, when the law of demand states that as the price of the goods go up, the quantity demand of that good goes down. But it is different when we talk about the law of supply. So the law of supply states that an increase in price causes, okay? An increase in price causes an increase in supply. It is different for demand because when there is an increase in price, there is a decrease in demand. So this is the law of supply. When there is an increase in price, there is a increase in supply. What is the reason behind this? When there is an increase, when we talk about supply, as what I have already discussed on the previous video, that we already discussed the determinants of supply. When we discuss about supply, you think of yourself as you are the supplier. So when you are the supplier, when the price of the goods you are supplying increases, you as a supplier, you will supply more. You will supply more for the reason that it will increase the income that you will be receiving from that goods that you are supplying to your customers. All right? So when the law of demand has a downward sloping demand, right? So in the law of supply, it has an upward sloping supply curve, right? So it means lamang po na there is a positive relationship or there is a direct relationship of the both variables that are price and supply. So when you go back to our discussion, or when we go back to our discussion on the law of demand, there is a downward slope and it has a negative relationship between the demand and the price. But now, in the supply, it has an upward sloping supply curve and it has a direct relationship. So it has a direct relationship for the reason that both of them are increasing. When the other variable is increasing, which is the price, the variable 2, which is the supply, will also increase. So for you to be able to understand the same with what happened to the discussion of us in the law of demand, for you to be able to understand this upward sloping supply curve, we are to make use of the graph. Alright, so let us make use of this given. So the price and the quantity supply. So when the price is 120, okay, when the price is 120, the quantity supply is 10. But when the price is 160, the quantity supply is 15. So the same is true with what happened on the demand. We are to make use of you are to create the graph of this given. So you are to write y-axis and the x-axis. So do always write this one. Do not forget on writing the y-axis and the x-axis so that you will be able also to understand what are, or yes, you will be able to understand what are the numbers that you are to put on the y-axis and you are to put on the x-axis, right? So now, in the x-axis, in the y-axis, the same with the demand, you are to put the price. And here on the x-axis, you are to put the quantity supply, right? So that is your labeling. So do not forget the labels of your graph. So first, let us write down the prices. So as you can see, we have 120 and 160. So we can make use of dividing it by 40. You have 40, 80, 120, and 160. So, diba, equally divided ang iyong graph. So, in y-axis and x-axis, it should be equally divided. So, 160, 120, 80, and 40. Alright? Next, on the x-axis, so it has a 10 and a 15. So, simple lamang, no? You can divide it by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20. So, always write the numbers. Okay? Para hindi ka, dili ka maglibog ba kung ahanin mo ibutang ang imong graphing na dayon. So, now, you are to graph na. You are to identify, where is the point A and the point B. So, when the price of the product is 120, the quantity supply is 10. So, this is your point A. And then, when the price is 160, the quantity supply is 15. So, that is your point B. Right? So, this is your point A and this is your point B. So, because of the word upward sloping supply curve, you are to draw, the curve from point A to point B with an arrow pointing upward. Okay? So, that is your supply curve. Your upward sloping supply curve. It is sloping. It is not in linear form. When you connect your point A and point B, do not connect it on a line form. Okay? And a line. You are to connect it with a sloping curve upward. Okay? Para dili mo marong sa inyong mga answers, sa inyong mga activities, and sa inyong mga exams. Now, when in the law of demand, we are solving for the slope, it is also needed that you are to solve the slope in the law of supply. So, the easiest part of this is the slope has the same formula for the supply and the demand. Okay? So, same lamang po ang ating formula. Okay? I'm sorry. It's quantity, change in quantity, supply. Alright? So, this is the formula for the slope. We have slope is equal to rise over run, change in y-axis over change in x-axis equals change in price over change in quantity supply. Alright, so we will start on solving the slope. So when you are to solve your slope, you are to look at your given. Do not look at your graph. So dito ka titingin. Okay, you look at here. So when you are writing, when we say this icon, it means change. It means that you are to subtract. So, we will start identifying numbers or writing numbers on your formula in the given below. Okay? Dito tayo mag-start sa given mo na nasa below ng iyong given. Alright? So, 160 minus 120. Yes, so as you can see, 160 to 120 divided by 15 minus 10. Okay, so 15 minus 10. So, we will go back to your general mathematics. No, the bigger the number, it will carry its sign to the equal side. So, 160 minus 120, it is positive 40. Why? 160 has a positive sign and it is the bigger number. So the equal will carries the positive sign. Divided by 15 minus 10, it's 5. So the equal of your slope or the result of solving your slope for the law of demand is positive 8. So as you can see, it is positive because it is upward. And always be reminded and keep in your mind that when you are solving for the law of supply, it is always positive. So when you are solving for the law of supply and you will get a negative number or a negative sign is carrying that number in your slope, it means that mali po ang iyong pag-solve ng slope. Always that in the law of supply, it is a positive result. Alright? So, I hope you learned something on today's video for the law of supply. So, please study on the demand, on the law of demand, and on the law of supply. And I hope it will help you on your studying during our final term. Thank you everyone for watching. See you on the next video.